threat of disaster is never pleasant.
Welcome to the Casual Preppers podcast.
These safety measures are essential.
The only place for prepping, survival, and entertainment.
This will be your source of survival instructions and information. Every member of the family must be coached in the business of survival.
Here are your hosts, Cam and Kobe.
Well, it's starting to get cold out there, Cameron.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah, I did.
It's starting to get chilly. So, today, what are we talking about?
Oh, hey, happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
I don't know if you're releasing this today.
I'll probably
or
actually release it the day before Thanksgiving just for fun.
Today,
which is the day we're right now. Right, yeah.
Yeah,
But
so
happy Thanksgiving anyways.
have a delicious Thanksgiving, everybody.
Turkey is so good.
Yeah.
With gravy and
Oh,
stuffing.
man, I love it.
Cranberry sauce.
I feel like I'm just eating it for like 5 days, too.
Which is the best.
Turkey and
Oh, it's
a
so
little
good.
more roll.
My gosh.
Oh, yeah. Love America.
Oh, it's the
Love
best.
America.
Love it.
But yeah, speaking of cold, figured it's getting colder.
Sure is.
We're going into the winter times.
We are.
We won't see snow ever again because of global warming.
Which is great, yeah.
But we need to be prepared for it.
We do.
And every year you have to like reassess,
Mm-hmm.
you know, what do I have in my vehicle? What do I have at home? And how am I going to stay alive when I lose power? We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, it's great stuff to know.
Yeah, it is.
And if you want to be more prepared for winter months, you know, a great way to do it is with a subscription to BattleBox.
It really is.
It really is. Most subscription boxes, they're full of samples and junk you're just not going to use, but not BattleBox. It is the monthly subscription box for men, full of solid gear for adventure seekers, survivalists, outdoor enthusiasts, and casual preppers. Each month, BattleBox sends you the coolest selection of handpicked outdoor survival and everyday carry gear, all valued at far more than what you'd normally pay. You never know what's in the next box, but here's a sampling of what users received this month. The LED Lenser ML6 750 Lumen lantern. Our good friend Curran was showing it on the last podcast.
I've been playing with it since.
Yeah, you like to play with stuff
It's
like
great,
that, don't
yeah.
you?
It is super unique.
It is.
Like, I would have never found it on my own.
You wouldn't, and that's the cool thing about BattleBox.
I don't
New
know where
gear
they find stuff.
that I don't know how
Go
they
to
do
space and get it.
it. Pretty much.
Yeah.
And then the Rapid Pure Pioneer straw.
That's pretty cool.
You got to have something to get water.
Yeah.
And that is something that gets water for you, even if
does.
it's dirty. All this badassness starts at just $30 per month. They've shipped almost 1 million boxes and won Best Men's Subscription Box of 2017. Our listeners get a free knife when you sign up at trybattlebox.com/casual preppers. That is trybattlebox.com/casual preppers. Get your first BattleBox plus a free knife at trybattlebox.com/casual preppers.
Listener reviews starts now.
Yeah, and BattleBox is like, I think all their stuff has been amazing, and I honestly think they're going to like destroy it next year.
It's going to get better.
Yeah.
It's going to get better starting. We have a little bit of insight on what's
Yeah.
going on over there. Holy moly.
Don't waste your time.
Get ready.
But listener review, love the humor.
Yeah.
5-star.
Mm-hmm.
I listen and watch so much prepper stuff that it's a nice change of pace to listen to two morons. Just kidding. That's what he was heading toward. To listen to two guys who are informative yet genuinely funny too.
That's nice.
So he's like, oh, it's too much.
Yeah.
I need to listen to funny prepping.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
But it's true, though. Sometimes you do need that change of pace.
you get a little paranoid when
Yeah.
you listen to other things.
You do.
And
I
for us,
do.
we're like, hell, it's not a big deal.
No big. The world's going to end. Pandemics aren't that big a deal. Right?
I know how to survive monsters and volcanoes.
Yeah. Asteroids.
Yeah. So thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Rufus the Pig from Apple Podcasts. That's his name. If you guys want to be a part of this portion of the podcast, please go to iTunes, go to Facebook, go to the Kindle book on Amazon, leave us a 5-star review, and make it awesome.
It's a mad, mad world.
And before we get into Mad Mad World, something to me that is kind of Mad Mad World, I don't know if you saw this, Cameron, but True Prepper just put out their list of the top 10 best prepper
That's right.
podcast on the face of the galaxy. And guess who was number one?
Yours truly.
That was a little awkward.
was super
Weird. Okay.
That wasn't planned.
It was not planned at all, and that freaks me out a little
Rewinded
bit.
it. Sounded really nice.
That's a glitch in the Matrix right there, like 100%.
That
Holy
was super
crap.
weird. We couldn't have synchronized that.
When
better.
I looked at it, I was like, did I say that or did he say that? Almost like I couldn't tell.
I know. I didn't even want to finish because it's like, am I saying?
Holy crap, that was weird.
That was
Anyways, yeah.
Oh man, we're in sync.
We were the number 1 podcast, which
Yeah.
was super cool. When they put it out, the first list out in 2017, we were number 9. We just got started. We were the little kids on the block just trying to figure it out. But that was really cool.
I know when you sent me the link, I was like, might be number 10.
Yeah.
Like slipped in there, but we were tippy top.
Hero.
Tippy
Yeah,
top.
pretty rad. So thank you, True Prepper, and thank you to you guys for
Making us that.
getting us over that hump.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The hump.
The hump day
the
hump.
dump.
Yeah, but Mad World, Cam, you got anything good?
I do.
Okay.
So little do you know, you go to a board meeting.
Yeah.
You know, your kids.
I'm
you know,
bored at all meetings.
Yes.
Most-
And these especially.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't like the things that are being taught.
Okay.
Maybe you don't like, the way that the school's going.
Mhm.
But guess what? If you raise a little
Little hell.
hell.
Yeah.
Not specifically threatening teachers shouldn't be doing that.
No,
but
don't do that.
if you're getting mad and stuff,
Mhm.
guess what? You're getting tagged by the FBI. So this was a big controversial thing lately that the FBI, the head, what's his name? Not coming to mind. Anyways, he was like, no, we're not doing that. But whistleblower's like, yeah, we are threat tagging parents that are going to these meetings and like kind of freaking out. Granted, there are people that are nuts.
Sure, yeah.
And like freaky anyway. But why the FBI spending time, money, resources for anti-terrorism and going and tagging parents? Come on.
What the FBI?
Seriously.
Seriously.
So it says the purpose of the threat tag is to help scope this threat on a national level and provide an opportunity for comprehensive analysis of the threat picture for effective engagement with law enforcement partners at all levels. Says the email signed by Timothy
McVeigh.
Yeah, the FBI's assistant director for counterterrorism.
Oh, okay.
Counterterrorism. You know what I mean? It's like
I know. Yeah.
I don't. Things are just chaotic now, and
It's
it's like
over
we're
the top.
using our government money and time to investigate freaking parents. Like,
It's ridiculous.
oh my gosh. Anyways,
Yeah.
our world is just crumbling.
It's mad. Our world is
You
mad.
don't like things
You're right.
taught? Guess what? You can go to jail.
Yeah, go to jail. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
You want to know what else is crazy? Yesterday or today, I don't know when it was exactly, but NASA launched a spacecraft with SpaceX, which is kind of cool. They sent it up there. It's called DART, Double Asteroid Redirection Test.
double asteroid?
Double, yeah, which is cool. We talked about this, which is so awesome, in our asteroid episode, Surviving Asteroids. Basically, they're sending it out into space
Oh, I saw
to
that.
this asteroid that's 525 feet across, and they're going to hit it.
It's like
at
a ram, right?
Yeah, they're going to hit it at 15,000 miles per hour and try and move it.
I'm super interested to see what it does.
It is so cool.
Yeah.
You know
I
what I
just
mean?
saw that. Like, it must have just released something on it like 2 days ago or a day ago.
It was like, yeah, I think it just went up, just barely. So
That's
I don't know
pretty
when
sweet.
it's actually going to hit, but it's so cool. DART's goal is a crash that will slow Dimorphos, and that's the asteroid, and cause it to fall closer towards the bigger asteroid, shaving 10 minutes off its orbit. So they're trying to just move it and see. So this is a test for when there actually is like that Armageddon-style asteroid coming, that they can throw up
Man.
this space satellite and boom, and hit it. Get it
That's
off.
crazy.
And that was one of the ways we had talked about in that episode that we could possibly adjust an orbit of
Yeah.
an
It seems
asteroid.
so unrealistic, but
It totally does.
that's cool. I hope it's successful. That'd
I
be
know.
cool. Maybe Space Force will be hiring tugboat guys. Just
Oh,
like,
so,
go
yeah.
bump an asteroid.
faux show.
I'm an asteroid bumper.
I'm an asteroid bummer. I got the patch right here.
Just drive a spaceship. Like, this is like huge steel front end.
Yeah.
Like, that's weird.
It's cool though, huh?
That is cool.
That's awesome. Anyways, mad
Using your
world.
mind. Using your mind.
Yeah. So winter is on its way, and it's here for some of us.
Yeah, what was it, like 20 or 19 this morning?
I don't know.
It's colder.
Cold.
Balls.
Yeah, I know it was cold. And so the
I'm
cold,
not ready.
the cold weather is coming. The winter weather is coming. The snow, the sleet, all the things that it brings, and it brings very specific things that you have to prep for, right? And so we said, hey, there's a lot of problems that it can cause for you and your family. Let's do an episode. We did one quite a ways back, but it's something that I think you have to continually keep up on.
Always.
Continually think about the things that need to happen. So winter storms, blizzards, they create higher risk of obviously car accidents. That's a bad deal. Hypothermia, that's a bad deal. You're going to talk about that later, aren't you?
A little bit.
Frostbite, carbon monoxide poisoning, heart attacks. It's crazy when you look at the statistics for heart attacks in the winter. it goes way up.
Yeah.
Because people are out there, anyways.
I think home fires are like
home fires go way up.
double or triple during the winter season.
Yeah, you have the possibility of losing power, losing heat, losing communications because of these things. And so the elderly, the sick, children are all, at high risk during this season.
Yeah.
And so we need to figure out how do we prepare for that and what are the things we can do to make it easier for you, right? But
I always said if an apocalypse is going to happen, it's either going to be middle of winter, which I would prefer over the dead middle of summer.
Middle of summer.
Ugh.
No, thank you.
But it's going to happen one of those two. It's not going to be spring or fall. It's going to be the worst.
And so, obviously, just every winter, even if it's a mild winter, these are things that you need to do.
But just general, yeah.
But sometimes there's gigantic storms that come through. And so I thought it'd be kind of cool to talk about a few of the big storms that have hit in winter in the United States and the things that they've done and the damage that they've caused, because they can really, sometimes you don't think about blizzards as something that's going to cause a lot of damage. You think hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, but blizzards can really do some.
Yeah, the United States has a lot of weird
they do
weather, like the hurricanes, the tornadoes, and
and it seems like they're all racist storms. I'm seeing here. So the first storm,
this is full on.
Yeah, it was back in 1888, and it was called the Great White Hurricane. All right,
freak.
The deadliest recorded winter storm in the United States occurred on March of 1888. The heaviest snowfall was concentrated in Northeast, primarily New York. This is crazy.
It's crazy. The Northeast gets hammered.
And I don't know why, but I think it's
Lake
just the weather patterns, like the ocean and whatnot. Over the course of 4 days, 50-foot snow drifts. 50 foot. That's insane.
That is.
High winds took out power lines and blocked travel. Once the snow melted, further damage was done by extensive flooding and ensuing fires.
50 foot. That's insane.
It's crazy.
Like, just thinking about.
That's a transformer, dude.
What was that?
Yeah, Optimus. What is he?
I can't remember.
It was hilarious. Anyways, nobody knows what we're talking about.
Yeah,
anyways.
we don't. No.
The snowstorm was responsible for over 400 deaths, millions of dollars worth of damage. The storm.
That's it?
Yep, I know. Yeah, it was also cited as one of the reasons for the creation of underground subway systems in New York and Boston.
Joke.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's put it underground.
Yeah,
ain't snow down there.
The snow's bad. Let's do that stuff underground. So that's the Great White Hurricane of 1888.
I never would have thought that would
I know.
lead to subway systems.
It kind of makes sense, though, right?
Yeah, it does.
And then we have the White Hurricane of 1913. The next most deadly winter storm in the U.S. happened in the Great Lakes region in November of 1913. Over the course of 4 days, hurricane-strength winds sunk 8 ships and killed over 200 people. The wind created waves over 35 feet high.
Oh, my gosh.
That scares me. I don't like water like that.
I don't either. I watch
me
those
out.
videos of like Coast Guard and stuff, and I'm like, how do those guys do that?
I don't get it.
Like, it just seems like you don't have anything to fight against. Like,
no,
you're dead.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do.
You hope you don't sink.
Yeah. This one doesn't seem quite as racist, but I'm sure we all know somebody named Larry that's racist. Storm Larry. This was in 1978.
Sounds like some football player.
I know.
Offensive line has Storm Larry.
Storm Larry got the fumble.
The Storm Larry center. He's freaking incredible.
Yeah. The blizzard of 1978 was responsible for about 100 deaths and 4,500 injuries.
Jeez.
The snow combined with hurricane-strength winds knocked out power, heat, and water for over a week.
That's a long time.
The storm started suddenly and people were unprepared. Weird. The snow drifts came so quickly and heavily that many people were trapped inside their homes or cars for several days.
This is without the dependence on Netflix and cell phones.
What did you do during Storm Larry?
I don't know.
Hashtag Storm Larry.
Watched Star Wars over and over again.
Yeah, you got Star Wars, but they didn't have VHS. You couldn't watch it at home.
Jeez.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know.
They
acted it out.
Yeah, that's right. They did, yeah.
They go outside and
Larry and his grandkids did it.
What's the little thing that Luke cuts open and gets inside?
Oh, yeah, I don't remember.
He's all, let's pretend we're that, and just run around outside.
White little things that come out of it. Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway.
The last one I've got is Snowmageddon from 2010.
Oh, yeah.
This one is weird, dude. I've never heard of this. I didn't know that this was a thing. When we get to it, I'll tell you. The Snowmageddon storm of 2010 was actually the combination of 2 blizzards hitting the same area simultaneously. Like, how do you separate them? Like,
that's the same blizzard.
That snows from that blizzard. That snows from that blizzard. Combining, right?
Just waiting for an aftershock from that earthquake 2 years ago.
This is so weird. The storm, which took place right after Christmas, featured a rare event known as thunder snow.
Wow.
Dude, in which lightning and thunder... I know, man. I watched that movie. In which the lightning and thunder of a regular snowstorm is accompanied by snowfall instead of rain.
What the crap?
Would that not creep you the hell out?
Yeah.
It's like...
Well, we're the end of the world.
Yeah, like it's...
Earth's off its axis, I'm pretty sure.
Where's Jesus? Because he's coming. You know what I mean? Because that would freak you out. Thunder and snow.
Yeah,
that'd thunder snow.
Be really weird.
Thunder snow. It's like a name of a... I don't know.
Is this the... Do you remember when that like super nasty cold front like killed all those cattle up in North Dakota and stuff? I think that was this year.
Was it 2010?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Anyways,
but that was weird. The temperatures like plummeted like, in one day, and killed a ton of cows. Anyways, scary,
crazy. Anyways, so that's kind of just us, a little sampling of
any second
one of these things can happen
with Snowmageddon.
Yeah, exactly. And I just hope one day I get to experience a thunder snow.
Yeah. I'm gonna be like, hey kids, you won't see this every day. It's a
Get
thunder
outside.
snow.
Listen, watch, feel. Thunder snow. I don't know, man.
It sounds like a movie title.
It does, right?
Thunder Snow featuring Mel Gibson.
From the producers of Sharknado is Thunder Snow.
Yeah,
that's what it feels like, right?
Netflix original.
Now it'd be like an Amazon Prime.
Yeah, it would be an Amazon Prime.
Probably. Or like a Peacock or something. One of those smaller
Amazon
studios.
Prime, man.
Yeah.
They can't get it together.
They haven't figured out their originals. I mean, there's been a couple.
There have been.
Not really what we're talking about today, but we're going to move on. Winter preparedness. When you talk about winter preparedness, you got to start at home. That's where
the heart is.
The heart is. And the hardy is. So
that's where the hardy is.
That's right. Always, pretty much.
Oh, man. Somebody's going to make a plaque. That seems like a plaque when you go into somebody's house. Home is where the hardy is. Established 2006.
Picture of you sitting on your couch.
I always sit on my couch, you son of a...
Avoiding texts from me to try to get you to go to jiu-jitsu. Screw that guy. Home is where the hardy is.
Busy.
I'm at home. That's where Hardy is. So you got to start at home. That's the place to start. I mean, a large storm hits, or there's a thunderstorm on the way. You hope that you're in your house with all your preps, things. You know what I mean. You have the things you need. So, it always comes back to the basics. You have to have your food. You have to have your water. And you have to have your medicals. Right. Those are
You're American, so yes.
You have to have that, right? So if you get stranded in your home, the weather prevents you from going to the store, or maybe even, the supply chain gets cut because of this storm. You need to be ready to keep yourself good for days or weeks. Like, one of those storms that said it was a week before power came back.
Yeah. And I've seen like those storms in Chicago and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like the whole street. There's like no way you can even get through. No plows can get it. Like you'd have to do it all by hand.
You just have to stay in your house, basically. So you've got to be ready with the basics: food, water, and meds. And that means we talk about this all the time, but you have to have that backup supply of those life-saving medications. If you're on something that you have to take every day to not die, you absolutely have got to have some sort of a plan, because if you can't get out because of one of these snowstorms, what are you going to do?
Right.
It freaks me out, man. That's a scary thing. So I just say, if you're on one of those,
we can't fit you all in.
No, and if you can't get out the door, it doesn't matter if they can fit you in.
Right.
You can't get it anyways, right? So that's a big deal. And this is a thing I harp on all the time too, is that family emergency plan. These emergency plans, they apply to all aspects of prepping. It's not just like the end of the world, like an asteroid's coming and DART didn't do its job.
Yeah.
Now we're all going to die. But a blizzard is part of that. So if you live in a part of the country where blizzards and, really bad snowstorms are a thing, then that has to be part of your family emergency plan. What do? You have to spell that out, right?
Right.
So
I think that's huge, because how many times you've been at work and the weather's just getting crazy and you're like, am I going to be able to make it home tonight?
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
Is my family, do they have power there and
Yes.
I'm not there? Like, you've got to have this plan set up.
Yep, you have to have that plan, and that goes back to communications and all that kind of stuff. So, but before like these things happen and winter's coming on and there is nothing going on, you can prepare your home to be better prepared for one of these storms, right? So, one thing you can
I
do
feel
is,
like mine just needs all new insulation.
I'm just getting a new
tear
house.
the walls down.
Let's get a new house. Burn this one down.
Seriously, mine's so
Get a
bad
new
with
one.
heat.
Yeah. So make sure you have adequate insulation. That is one of the biggest things.
You probably got skimped.
You probably did.
I didn't build it, so
Nope. Yeah. So you need to check your walls and your attics. Those are the biggest places where obviously it's
Yeah.
very important. A lot of times in the attics, they don't even put insulation in there. You got to make sure there's insulation because you're just losing heat and cold air is coming in. So also, caulking in all the right places.
Yeah,
You got to have
gotta
that
get
done.
some caulk in there.
Your windows. And then the weather stripping around the doors is super important. That's something that I've got to do this year.
Yep, I do too.
Oh
I
my
was like
gosh.
laying on my couch because that's where I live.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
And I was like looking at our back door and I could see light through the whole thing. I'm like, well, got to replace all that.
Exactly. But it's like stuff that you don't
There's
think
like
about.
spiders coming in and out, earwigs. I'm
Neighborhood
like,
kids sneaking in under the weather stripping.
snakes and
Yeah, snakes.
everything's coming in.
Not good.
I ain't getting off the couch though.
Never mind. Home is where the hearty is. Don't worry about it.
Come on in.
So obviously keeping up with this is going to do a lot of different things, but it's going to save you money in the end because your home's going to be more fuel efficient trying to heat it, trying to cool it, all those things. Also, if the power does go out, it's going to stay warmer longer if all of those things are done.
Yeah.
So take the time. Now is a great time to do it before it gets super cold. Get those things done. Get them looked at. Do what you can. You might not be able to do it all, but do something.
Yeah. And you can tell too, like my house, the backside with all the windows and the doors, like that all faces west.
West, yeah.
And so it's just like weathered. And that's where all the storms seem to hit and it
exactly.
leaks. So it's like you focus on like that area first and then go. Because I've been caulking all my windows and that house just needs to be torn to the ground.
Get rid of it. Another thing to think about come winter months, if you have big trees around your house, is making sure those large branches that are coming over are trimmed. Because I've had an issue with this in my previous house where one came down and went right into the roof, and there was a hole in the roof. Not
Did
good.
you?
Yeah. So
I've always been terrified about that, but we don't have trees that grow out in south.
No, we don't. But if you do, make sure that those are trimmed and because you get a big snow, that those things break, come down on you or your house or your dog or your kids or whatever.
Yeah, you get a thunder snow. It's going to start on fire and fall on you.
Thunder snow? Heck no. That's what I say. Right?
Say no to thunder snow.
And just say no to thunder snow. You may want to have
That's
a chainsaw.
your city plan. Well, okay.
I'm the emergency management
what
guy.
else?
We're just starting a campaign on the internet.
We haven't gotten into the plan details, but say no to thunder snow.
You got to put a hashtag in front of it. That's what my kid
Open
said.
the discussion. What do you want to do after that?
My grandkid said I need to use hashtags and fancy sayings. So I've got to say no to thunder snow. Hashtag. No, hashtag. I don't know. One of those.
It's working.
It's working, I
It's
think.
working.
Haven't had one yet. Been great. Right?
Don't know how.
But you may want to obviously have a chainsaw or an axe on hand in case one of those things does happen. You can go up and fix the issue.
Yeah,
pretty
chop
quick.
it down.
Yep.
Scared threats too.
Yeah.
Good home defense.
For sure. Something that happens quite frequently in these colder months is pipes freeze.
Yeah.
Especially on older homes. And I've had this issue one year, Thanksgiving morning, my pipes burst underneath the house. It was, they froze. And like, I had to get under the house. And it was one of those where they just
and hug them until they warmed up.
You barely had like enough room to get under. I had to like shimmy under there.
Yeah.
And it was just like a home that was built in the 40s.
Oh, yeah.
And then as I was under there trying to get them unfrozen, they burst while I was in there. Can I tell you, that's one of the scariest moments of my life. So, that's kind of what it was like.
Got a hole in the floorboard.
I can't breathe. Should have rolled my scuba gear.
Guide me to the dishwasher or something. I can breathe through.
So make sure that if there is an issue like that happens frequently in your home, that you either have like some heat tape down on those or whatever,
or a small child that can crawl underneath easier.
Breathe on them. Or leave your water running a trickle, cold trickle.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I call.
It doesn't need to be hot.
No.
Just a cold trickle.
Cold trickle. If you have a fireplace, keep that sucker well maintained.
Yeah.
My grandpa had this issue a few years back.
Chimney packed full or?
Yeah, it caught a fire up in his attic. Caught a fire in there. It was great.
That's a way to keep that's a way to keep the attic hot.
Yeah.
Start a fire.
Get rid of them spiders.
Yeah.
Good way.
Burn all the webs up.
Do it once every few years.
It's like burning weeds on a ditch. Let's burn the whole damn thing and get it all out of there.
Yeah. pretty good.
smart.
So just make sure that you keep it maintained. Also have those alternate sources of heat because if the power goes out for some reason, furnaces were dick. So you got to have something else. So
Everything is electrical.
Yeah.
It's
So
like,
make sure you have like a Mr. Buddy or a wood burner is great too.
what about a Mrs. Buddy? They got those?
I don't know. They're kind of temperamental.
Just 2 hot canisters.
2 hot canisters, yeah. Ooh, Mrs. Buddy. I wish you were Miss Buddy.
Yeah, I guess I should say Miss Buddy.
Anyways, moving on from
Stupid
that.
joke.
Stupid jokes. And speaking of those things, keep fire extinguishers on hand.
Yeah.
Because like Cam mentioned.
They do full on. Like, people
Yeah.
will burn a blanket in the middle of the living room.
Yeah, it's cold in here. Wool burns. I got a blanket.
Bring the generator inside. It's getting cold.
It's getting cold. Yeah. So, have fire extinguishers on hand because that's when things get nasty. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Understand how to turn off the water and the gas to your home. Very important. Also, make sure that you have smoke and carbon monoxide detectors because people get stupid when they get cold and the power goes out.
They get chiming. They take everything out of them and just put them back.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but
I've
people,
been there.
they bring in, their cooking stuff. They bring in their generator inside the
it's
house.
deep fried turkey.
Yeah.
Inside,
Good
it's cold
gracious.
outside.
And then they die.
Yeah.
So you make sure you have those in your home and that they're working. Have a snow shovel with some salt on hand, obviously. When it snows, you want to have a shovel.
Yeah, I like that.
Extra blankets.
Mm-hmm.
Worst comes to worst, you just throw on some extra blankets and you live. You don't die.
Yeah.
Okay, so have extra stuff.
Yeah.
We never have enough blankets.
I know. I have a tendency to like hoard blankets too.
Yeah.
My wife's like, "This one's getting old and kind of fraying." I'm like, "Throw it in the camper."
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. I do
don't
the same
ever.
thing.
It's like,
Yeah.
even if you use it to like change oil, like,
Exactly. Or if you use it to, put in a window or something when it's the power
Storm
goes
blanket.
out. Yeah. Thunder snow blanket.
But I have a hard time getting rid of them.
I do too.
Usually when they've washed and all the cotton's in one end, it's like
It doesn't matter.
It's a piece of crap, but you could use it for something.
Use it as a pillow now.
Picnic blanket.
Also have several alternate communication methods at your home because obviously the internet goes out or the power. That's one communication method down. Do you have a landline? Does that landline work if the power goes out? Know that. Know what it is. Usually, but sometimes not. They actually changed it in our area to where they'll only be on for so long. They just have backup batteries now.
Oh, come on.
Oh, no. Emergency radio, we've talked about this a million times. Make sure you have a good one with several ways to power it. Two-way radios, Cam and I have this as an alternate that we can communicate back and forth to each other at least.
I have a drone with a dry erase board on it.
Yeah, he brings it to me.
Write it.
I draw a picture of a dick and I send it back.
He's alive.
He's still
Everything's
there.
okay.
You imagine that? He comes down.
He would probably come back and be like, "You got an outline done?"
Probably what it would be. What's the next episode going to be on?
Oh, he's fine.
He's good. You want to go to jiu-jitsu?
Get off that couch.
Get off the couch. Also, ham radio.
Yeah.
This type of year, turkey radio.
I really need to get it done. Like, Curran got me all fueled up, and then I never asked him how he, like, what resources
Just
he
send
used.
him a text. We'll get it figured out.
Yeah.
Don't forget about your pets.
Yeah.
They got to live, too.
And you can eat them.
And you can eat them, but
Plump
you
'em
want to
up.
keep feeding them, so make sure you have some extra food on hand for that kind of stuff in those scenarios. Backup portable multi-fuel generator, always a huge plus if you can get it.
I really want a multi-fuel.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's not multi-fuel, even if it's just a regular one fuel, that's great.
Single fuel.
Yeah. Also consider those smaller backup USB power banks. At least you can keep those devices charged, your iPads and your phones and things like that.
Yeah.
You're going to want those for your children's.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be
This
bored.
is where relying on solar might be a little bit tricky because
It might be.
You could have a storm going for a long time.
So just make sure that you have some backup power supplies.
This is where that solar home could come in really handy.
It
Even
could.
though I just said the solar is a little bit limited. You usually still get charged.
You'll
though.
get a small charge.
But if that battery lasts forever.
It does.
And all this got 4 lights. It's got the one
Yep.
on the device and then the 2, and they're great.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Absolutely.
look into it.
Yeah.
Don't be
Also, being in an emergency situation like this, we talked about this. Being fit and healthy is going to be a huge plus.
It really is.
Well,
it always is.
It always is, right? But you may have to go, dig out your vehicle. You may have to shovel the driveway, or you may actually have to walk to get supplies.
Yeah.
Because the roads are shut down or whatever that might be. So all of these.
Have you ever walked in like foot high snow?
I have.
You don't even have to go very far, and you're like, this sucks.
This is horrible.
So much energy.
And you just want to lay down and
then
go
you start
to sleep.
sweating and getting more cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yep. All of these present issues if you aren't fit. So they say heart attacks and exhaustion are super common in the winter months because people go outside, it's cold, they're out there shoveling and they're doing whatever they have, and they have a heart attack.
Yeah,
because they're
true.
not fit, they're fat, and they're dumb.
Yep.
So make
and
sure
the cold kind of.
Yeah, it exacerbates all that kind of stuff. So just make sure, again, being healthy and being fit is going to be huge in every prepping situation. So think about that.
Yeah, like one of my near-death experiences was snowmobiling, and I got it stuck.
Yeah, oh
and
gosh, it's horrible.
Trying to unshovel it, and it was like sinking down, and like, you know, when you're trying to lift the back end of a snowmobile, I'm like, that was the worst.
That's why I hate snowmobiling.
You need to be,
I hate it.
Like, it was like the scariest, and the sun was going down. I'm like, I'm gonna die.
When I was like 12, so we would have to snowmobile into the lodge every winter.
Yeah.
But you couldn't get close, so you had to snowmobile about 10 miles up, right? But we had to go up there to shovel off all the roofs because there was so much snow, they would just collapse the roof. So we got about a mile from the lodge.
How deep does it get up there?
Oh, like 10 feet.
I was going to say, it has
It's
to
insane.
clear up there.
Yeah. So we got about a mile from the lodge, and the snowmobile broke down. And it was me and my grandpa and my cousin uncle. We've talked about him before, Buzz. He was 13, I was 12. My grandpa was like, I don't know what to do, but I'm going to have to walk back to the truck, which was about 9 miles. And it was about 7 o'clock. It was starting to get dark. So he's like, you guys walk to the lodge, stay the night.
Are you serious?
I was 12 years old. So we walked to the lodge a mile and had to break in. And
With no snowmobile track.
No snowmobile track.
Because when that's packed, it's
Yes.
usually easier to walk on.
And 12 years old, by ourselves.
That's insane.
Up at the lodge.
Your grandpa's like, hope you two die.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
So we got a fire going.
Mark your body.
Yeah. We got a fire going, slept next to the fire, singing like hymns all night because we were so scared. Sasquatch
Did
was
he
gonna
get
eat
back
us.
before?
He came back the next day. Because he had to go all the way back to town and everything was closed.
Wow, that's
right?
insane.
So we had to stay there by ourselves. Anyways, after that, I never much liked snowmobiles.
Yeah. That's Bigfoot terrain, too.
Oh my gosh, I was so scared. That was the creepiest night of my life. Right?
That's insane. He just let you two go.
Well, we couldn't walk all the way back.
Right,
we were
right.
too young. You know?
But like, man,
it was a mile to the lodge, 9 miles back to the truck. So he made it.
That was the
we
last
all
time
lived.
we saw Kobe.
Exactly.
He came back.
Yeah.
But
So thinking about a winter storm coming, you're like most people, you were an idiot and you haven't prepped anything.
Yeah.
Let's think about that scenario.
Yeah.
What can you do in those last few hours or that last day to get prepared for a storm, right?
yeah. I like this. I mean, like, this is like, if you get anything out of this,
Yeah.
this is going to help.
This is great stuff, I think. So the number one thing is you need to get that information. You need to understand when the storm is coming, how bad it's going to
what
be.
snow is.
What is a thunder snow, what it means, right? So you have to have that communication. So number one, you have to have an emergency radio. We talked about that. If you don't have one, it's a great time to just go pick one up just in case. They're not that expensive, right? The next thing I would do is make sure you have those emergency apps on your phone because they're actually going to give you those alerts automatically as long as you have data or Wi-Fi, right? I 100% my favorite app is the Red Cross emergency app. I think it's the best. It's one of my favorites. So go get that one. You can set up alerts for your area, and it'll give you alerts on all those other things. If there's a winter storm coming, it's going to alert you. Also, your local emergency.
Alert. 5 parents were tagged.
Exactly.
In the FBI nearby.
Angry parents at your school.
Instead of
FBI alerted.
Instead of sex offenders moving.
Yeah,
like
I
I
know.
get those through my little security. What is it?
Oh, do you?
Basically the one that monitors credit and all that. It'll be like sex offender moved in within.
Jeez.
Now it's going to be like
Yeah.
aggressive parent.
Aggressive parents.
Tagged by FBI, moved in
Yeah.
next to you. Anyway, off subject.
Also, your local emergency management should have some sort of an emergency alert system, whatever that is. Get signed up and get it. So the first thing you need to head to the store if you haven't got anything like food and water. That's the first thing you need to do. It's going to be tough because so is everybody else going to the store, right?
Yep.
So you need to get at least 2 weeks of food, 2 weeks of water.
Yeah. Have it now.
Get it, okay? And if it's the last minute and you don't have that, go get it. And try and get stuff that maybe doesn't require power to cook or eat if you can.
Yeah.
Right? So think about that.
Well, just looking back to those storms you mentioned, it's
Yeah.
like the worst in, some of the historical
Yes.
storms. 1 week.
1 week.
Like,
Yeah.
most of the time, I mean, it would be rare to go beyond that. And
Most people
so,
have 3 days of food in their house,
Yeah.
less than 3. So it's like,
you dead.
idiots. You're
Can't
dead.
eat snow all day.
No. Make sure you have candles, you have flashlights, you have batteries for those flashlights. those would be super important so you can see what you're doing in your home, right? Toiletries, make sure you can wipe your butt and brush your teeth and wash your body. You want to continue to do that. Something else is going to be super important is keeping yourself, and if you have kids, keeping them entertained and occupied. Get some games, get some books, whatever you could do in those last few minutes is going to help if you don't have those, obviously. Snow shovels and ice melt, that's pretty obvious. And if you can get to that store and they have it, a small indoor safe heater with some fuel.
Those can be tricky because there's a lot of misleading information. Like you go to Amazon, it's like safe, and then you get it, and it's like don't use indoors.
Don't use it indoors. Yeah,
but I think, like you said, the Mr. Buddy's probably the best bet.
It is, yeah, and you can usually find it at
I have an
Walmart.
RV one that's in my camper, and that's probably the one I would bring indoors, just because I know it's safe. Hasn't killed us yet.
Yeah,
but it says it's safe. But yeah, those you got to like tons of heaters are not safe anymore.
Yeah. So those are the things you need to focus on if you get to the store. Get those things, get out, get home as quick as you can. But on your way back home, top off your car as far as fuel goes. Get a full tank because, again, you don't know if that fuel's coming back, if it's getting restocked for quite some time, or if you can even get to the gas station. And maybe there's going to be lines or whatever it is. So fill up your car, and if you have some gas cans, fill that up too. A lot of this stuff I'm probably going to do anyways, even though I know I'm prepared for something like this.
Yeah, no.
I'm going to do most of this.
Gas is $1 billion a gallon right now.
Yeah, exactly.
But I filled all mine, so I had to mow my lawn one more time before, and I was like, I'm going to just hit all my gas
Fill
cans.
it all up. Yeah,
so
it's a good idea. If you can, obviously this is hard, but pick up and refill any medications that you can that you need. Yeah. You might be able to, you might not be able to, but do it anyways.
Yeah. Talk about the 90 days with your provider. Like most can be changed to that. Or even if you're using GoodRx to just, because your insurance won't pay for it, do it. Like
go get it.
Spend cash and get the 90.
Yep.
Anyway.
It's worth it. It really is.
Yeah.
Again, check those smoke detectors and those carbon monoxide detectors. Make sure they have batteries and they're working, because if you're doing heat and cooking in different weird ways, you're going to want to be safe.
Yeah.
So just make sure those
Even
things
if
are
you're
working.
just like a little unsure, at least you have a detector there.
Exactly. Close off any unused rooms and just try and heat the rooms that you need to. It's just always a good idea, especially, in
just
a time.
in general, save
in general.
energy.
Yeah. Let your faucets drip, even if you don't really have
Trickle.
issues, cold trickle it. Even if you don't usually have issues with that, I would be safe.
Yeah.
Because if they
even
freeze,
newer homes,
it's going to suck.
It's big time.
Right? And then the last few things, stay off the roads. Once you get that stuff, if you don't have to go drive, just stay off the roads.
Yeah.
Most people are idiots. They don't know how to drive in the snow.
Yeah.
You might die.
You always see like some Honda Civic out there trying to get to the grocery store, and the only thing that's out are trucks and plows. You're like, come on.
You idiots. Yeah. So just, if you don't have to, and then download as many Casual Preppers episodes as you can, because you're going to want to listen to something.
Yeah. Delete them all and re-download
Exactly.
them all.
But anyways, that's kind of like that checklist right before a winter storm hits that you're going to want to look at and go and do.
Yeah. I think that is like the biggest part of this whole entire thing. Like that'll get you ahead of pretty much everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Some of the more specific things are like some specific kits, like home emergency winter kits that you can have ready, like Colby was talking about. Some of those items. Power outage during the winter is like the guarantee with big storms.
For
like
sure.
Heavy, people crashing, knocking out power lines, knocking out phone lines. Like it's the most likely time for this kind of crap to happen.
Yeah.
So, like you said, you want to make sure you have a way to heat a room that's safe. It's not going to give off, fuels and gas and kill y'all. And that happens a lot. So, make sure you get different items to counter that. And then the water and food. Even if you're working on the 72-hour, like that's easy. That one you can do in a day.
For sure. Yeah.
Like you could just have 72 hours, and that's still going to keep you ahead of almost every type of storm and outage.
Yeah, most of the time that's going to be sufficient.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's easy to do, and that can be done in a day, and then work on that 2 weeks. Like that. Just 2 weeks. It's a lot when you break it down, like food and water, but it's doable, and everybody can have 2 weeks worth. And
if you're just constantly working on it and getting a little every time you go to the store extra, it's not, you don't notice the cost, and it's really not hard.
No. And it's, this time of year, people are dropping crap off, and so it's like you could store some of those things.
For sure.
consider like ready to consume products, ones you don't have to cook. You don't have to worry about starting a fire or using electricity that you probably won't have. Like there's a lot of different products out there that are just ready to eat. Even if you just get a few of those nasty MREs, they're high calories, and those are the best during the winter anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
Water collection. So snow obviously can be used, but you're going to want to collect it and you're going to want to sterilize it. So think about your home storage, and this goes back to 1 gallon a day per person. Like roughly, you're looking at 15 gallons a week. I think that's what it was, or 2 weeks. I think it's 15 gallons per 2 weeks, yeah. 15 gallons for 2 people for 2 weeks is roughly where you want to be. So 2 of those blue things, the 55 gallons, that'll get my whole family those 2 weeks. But having ways to like prepare water if your water lines rupture and things like that.
Cook up some water.
Yeah. Just make water.
Yeah, just gonna get a little.
Just make some explosions like with hydrogen and
particle collider of some sort.
Boom, and you just got water. But yeah, you got to think about ways to kind of continue to get water if you are running on the bare minimum. A blackout kit, and we've mentioned this in like multiple episodes. And I have one under my bed that has a flashlight, a headlamp, just ways to navigate your home because power's going to go out in the middle of the night.
Like a map? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Map of the house?
Where's the kitchen?
Where do those kids sleep?
Good thing I drew this in glow in the dark. But yeah, having those blackout kits and one that's like nearby your kids so they know where to get it. And not only do you have just flashlights and headlamps, in these you could put some candles. You can put a crank flashlight / radio. Like those are usually in a combo. Glow sticks, lighters, and matches. Just things that you can get light and make things easier to navigate and comfortable.
Yeah.
Another thing that I throw in mine is just a simple like bivvy.
Yeah.
Because
that's great.
That's the one thing is you have a lot of blankets and you can stay warm with them. You can like triple their, efficacy by putting a bivvy over top.
Oh yeah, it really traps in the
And they're teeny tiny and you can throw them in a little, I have a Tupperware thing by my bed that has it has the fire blanket, it has a fire mask, and then it has the blackout stuff in there too.
Nice.
A light and all that. Other things I won't talk about.
Those are secret.
Yeah. As for the heaters, look at Mr. Heater. Mr. Buddy. Mr. Heater's a great idea.
Mr. Heater?
That's a competition.
Yeah.
But the Mr. Heater, just look up those and you can usually find and see like what those little catalytic heaters are and how they, what options you have. But you're going to want to have one of those because those tiny propane tanks are cheap. You can just store them even if you're not planning on cooking with your propane grill. That's all you do with these.
One, you can get the where you can go to the bigger tanks too. You can get
the little converter thing,
converter, yeah,
or the to fill it up,
or you can actually go directly to the Mr. Buddy as well.
So use a big tank, and some people, that's just their main home fuel is a propane
for sure, yeah.
tank. But have ways that you can just use or adapt, put an adapter on and run just a simple heater. Some of the options to help cook, even where you're trying to do the non-cooked foods, Barrel Cook or one of those systems. And we've done a couple of videos on those, but those are the ones where you just fill a little water in the canister and you throw in one of those chemical packets and then they just get hot and cook.
Yeah.
Safe indoors.
Voodoo.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Basically.
And you can heat, just liquid soups, things like that, and you don't have to worry about flames and carbon monoxide poisoning and things like that. And cold medicines. So this year, people start cleaning off the shelves of that stuff. In this type of an event, like you're gonna wish and hope that you had plenty of ibuprofen, guaifenesin, Sudafed, honey.
What's guaifenesin? I don't even know what that is.
Mucinex.
Oh, okay.
So just something to help with cough and some of those minor cold symptoms. Having those at home.
Yeah.
Because if you can't go to the store and get some of those things and help your kids sleep and help you sleep, NyQuil even, you're going to be mad. And so we usually try and stock up on those. You can buy boxes of like a whole bunch. And it's going to be a huge relief for you to just have those minor things. And I've talked about it before, like knowing how to manage those basic colds, knowing when that you need to seek medical attention. Like fevers are not always a bad thing. Like that's how your body responds. That's how it's taking care of the virus. Like just some basic education. That's one thing I wish I could do is like go into the community and be like, look, you guys go in for too many, like there's just, you use up too much resources when you can manage this and your bodies are better at handling these than you think.
Save money, man.
So like spend some time in looking at when it's time to seek like more advanced medical care.
Right.
Because people, I think they waste a lot of time coming in when they don't need to. They could just manage it at home.
Yeah.
And knowing what medications and having some of those basic things like the oxygen sensor and the pulse and learning how to maybe take a blood pressure and listen to lungs. Like you can get all that medical gear. You don't have to be an MD
Well,
to
those
figure
auto
those things
blood
out.
pressure cuffs work.
Right. Yeah.
They're not always perfect, but
so
they
some
get
of
you
that
close.
medical gear is hugely like important for you to avoid having to drive into town when all you have is a viral cold, you know?
Yeah, and especially in a winter storm where driving is pretty dangerous.
Right.
And you don't want to if you don't.
You don't want to go in, sit in an ER waiting room and pick up pneumonia.
Yeah,
and then go home.
It's not good.
So anyway, and then generators and fuel. Make sure your generator runs well. You know, have backup spark plugs, and then have fuel for it. Make sure you have good exhaust. Like, don't put it inside. Don't run it in your garage. You need
Not
to
a great
keep it
idea.
outside. And no, you can print out a thing that tells you what wattage things run on. You know, get that generator that fits your needs. One that'll run a microwave. One that'll run a small heater for a good amount of time. Like things like that. When you're looking for a generator, you can print out a wattage usage. You know, don't expect to run your central air, but but the basics and how much light that you want and how much you want to run in your home, like they're easy to find. And the better ones are obviously the dual fuels. I kind of shoot with the generators. You want to try and shoot for around like 4,000 watts.
4,000 watts.
That's a pretty good, like affordable generator to run most things that you would need. So.
Cool.
Anyways,
I like that.
those are a lot of the little things that you can kind of add to the emergency kits for winter.
No, that's great. So a big issue come wintertime, especially when there's snow and ice, is driving, right? It gets insane. And so you need to be ready for that. Your vehicle needs to be ready for that. And so let's talk about a few things that you can do when winter comes for your vehicle. I mean, the number one thing I think all the time is just your regular car maintenance. Make sure it's up.
Yeah.
Make sure it's tuned up. Make sure the oil changes are done. The tire rotations are happening. You know, all of those things.
If you're running slicks,
it's not great.
It's time to change.
Like your battery, obviously that becomes more important in the winter.
Yeah.
Your battery, your coolant, your wipers, and your wiper fluid. That is a huge issue in the winter, especially here. Like you lose your wipers or your fluid, you can't drive.
Right.
It's a mess. Right.
And some people's batteries fully charged.
Yep.
They don't have a good cold crank.
Yep.
And they're dead.
Doesn't work.
Like,
Right.
Wait, what happened?
You make sure your filters, your brakes, all those things, you don't want to add to an issue, you know, breaking down in a snowstorm like this. It just makes things much, much worse. And so that's the first thing I would look at. And the next thing is, what are the items that you can keep in your vehicle that helps you out in this time of year?
9mm.
223, right? So,
double barrel.
The chances are, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably have one of these three kits, which is an EDC kit, a get home bag, or a bug out bag. And many times we're keeping those in our vehicles, which I think is great, right? I keep an EDC pack / get home bag in my truck at all times. So right there, you already have like the basics that you need to survive in case you get stranded or whatever might happen.
Yeah.
You have the basics. You can start a fire.
I saw your little Swiss Army knife.
You did.
That little white one.
Don't tell nobody about it.
Does it all.
It does, yeah. So that's a great thing to have in your vehicle because it gives you the basics of survival if something does go down. But there are other things to consider keeping in your vehicle in case of emergencies. Obviously, any fluids that your vehicle might need is great to keep on hand, you know, especially that wiper fluid, oil, whatever kind of coolant and stuff you might need. It's great to keep some in your vehicle,
right,
in case stuff goes down.
Yeah.
Tire chains, maybe.
I always run that de-icer in there too. Like,
yeah, it's good stuff.
Mix it in with the regular and it still works really well.
Yep, absolutely.
Drink a little.
Have a little sip. Sip your sip in the
Keep
morning.
your blood vessels from freezing.
Yeah, keeps you going. Keeps you going. Old home remedy.
It's nice. It's a little sweet and tastes pretty good.
Yeah. Just a little kick. No. Some extra warm clothing, boots, hats, gloves, jacket. You just, and maybe even some socks, like some wool socks. You just don't know what's going to happen, where you're going to be, and you might need it.
Be walking all the way home.
Exactly. Water, and this one, obviously in the wintertime, it's very difficult with water because stuff freezes. You don't want it to burst, and it's a tough thing. I do keep some of those water pouches in my vehicle, and a lot of people don't like those, but I do like them.
Stupid, teeny little water pouch.
I like it, though, because if it does freeze, it's not going to burst. If it gets too hot, it's not going to ruin the water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those are made for these conditions to get very hot and very cold, so that's why I like them. But you can also just,
and those are the ones you can stuff in weird little, cubbies in the, like, pull a piece of plastic off. You can shove a few down in there.
Exactly.
I've never had any freeze.
No. Yeah.
And it gets cold.
Exactly. But you can always just bring in some water.
Punctured, yes.
Every day.
I've had a few punctured.
I have too, yeah. I had some in my middle console and it got punctured. And whoops.
It's got a pin in it.
Yeah.
Well,
that's no good. But you can also just bring water in and out every day if you feel like it.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do. Obviously,
I found one of those pouches the other day, like, in my bag, and it was empty. I'm like, oh, great.
Great. What got wet?
How soaked did everything get, and then dried out?
Yeah. Food is another thing to keep in there. Snacks, any long shelf life food bars are great to keep in your truck.
Half-eaten. They're all over in my car.
Exactly. But you got to have something.
Yeah.
Right? A collapsible shovel is great to have, especially in the winter months. Ice scraper with a brush, that's pretty self-explanatory. Toe strap.
Yeah.
Very good.
I got to get a new toe strap.
It's always nice to have one of those. Something to get traction.
TOW.
Yeah, not a TOE. Right?
Got a toe strap.
Yeah.
Hold my socks up.
Yeah, it's great. Like suspenders for my feet.
Keeps my toes separated equally. Toe strap.
When you get stuck, you want something for traction if you can.
Yeah.
Maybe some sand, maybe some kitty litter. Maybe you just got floor mats in there you're going to use.
There's some cool stuff. Like I've wanted to get some of those like super like spiky grip things that you throw.
We got some in a battle box way back. I had some in my wife's car.
Yeah.
Jumper cables, obviously, or a battery jumper of some sort for your battery. You gotta have that, especially in the winter months. Again, I keep saying that, but those are super critical. Hand warmers.
I think you gotta have both.
Yeah, I think both is probably
half the time the battery dies.
Yep. Hand warmers, wool blanket. I keep one in my truck all the time.
Yeah, I do too.
Again, you just don't know. Fire starting tools. First aid kit, super important in a truck. That's one I use all the time as my truck first aid kit. I actually have like
that's the one I
3
usually go to first.
I have like 3 of them in my truck, so it's kind of nice. Headlamp and a flashlight. Again, you get break down in the middle of the night. You want to be able to see what's going on.
Headlamp makes it really nice.
It sure does. Maps. It's pretty self-explanatory there too. Sunglasses.
Wait, what?
Maps.
Go into detail on that. I don't get what you're saying.
If it's backwards, it's spam.
It is.
Just so you know.
I always knew that was the past, the healthiness.
Yeah.
There's a map.
Come wintertime, I have to have sunglasses. That it's so bright outside, and my eyes are so sensitive. I'm a little girl when it comes to that. I gotta have sunglasses. Ow, my eyes.
I can't drive.
Stingy. If you can carry some extra fuel in your truck or vehicle, great. That's always a good thing to keep with you. A small emergency radio. Why not?
Yeah.
And make sure you have a spare tire, dummy.
Yep.
you get a flat, you're gonna be unhappy if you don't have a spare.
Yeah, mine went flat in the parking lot at work.
Did it?
And mine was like up on blocks forever. Everybody's like, "This is the bad side of town."
Yeah, probably.
But yeah.
And then thinking about a few things if you're driving in the winter. Okay, you can't drive the same as you do in the summer or the spring. It's a whole.
Can't break 0.2 seconds before the stop sign.
This is a whole new game. Buckle up, dummy. Number 1.
Should be buckling up.
Yeah, slow down.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason to go fast.
Yeah.
Well, maybe there is. But especially if it's snowy, just slow down. Keep that extra distance. Brake slow and early. Brake early. That's the thing that people can't figure out. You have to brake early, right? Be careful of them plows out there because they are a mess sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Keep that
going 200 miles per hour and throw snow into your windshield.
Breaks your windshield.
like,
Breaks off your
I
side
can't see
mirror.
anything.
That is like you panic, man.
You do.
And you can't get your windshield wipers.
Like, we underwater?
Yeah. Oh, no. You keep that tank half full. Again, that's a big deal. And keep your windows and mirrors free of ice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those freaking, this is the time I always try and change out all my wiper blades because they haven't worked for since last winter.
Yeah.
They're all, they're all
Scraping.
broken plastic.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
good stuff. Yeah, I
Great
think the
stuff.
vehicle is it's like a great time to go through your
Yep.
vehicle.
It really is.
Let's talk about one of the more boring aspects of winter preparedness.
Okay.
Clothing.
Yeah.
So it's not super exciting, and there's a lot of different offerings out there, but I'm going to try and keep it real basic here.
Good.
Mayo Clinic recommends the acronym COLD.
They have
which
a whole
means-
clinic just for mayonnaise?
Yeah. There's a cold clinic. There's a warm one and a cold one.
I love mayonnaise.
But cold stands for cover, overexertion, layers, and dry.
Oh,
So cover, wear a hat or protective covering, prevent heat from escaping your head, face, neck. Wear mittens instead of gloves. Those are warmer.
they really are.
They're
warm.
harder to use, but they're warmer.
You can't shoot no gun with them.
That's true. Unless you get a big old trigger.
Big old mitten triggers. Maybe Tac Pack will send those out. Mitten trigger for your AR-15.
Really good. A little low pressure.
Got just 2 hands.
I'm surprised there isn't some
I know.
mitten trigger out there. Mitten trigger adapter. Overexertion.
Tactical mitten trigger.
All right, Tac Pack, we're waiting for it.
Yeah, get it done.
Avoid activities that cause you to sweat a lot.
I do that all the time.
Cold weather plus sweat equals faster heat loss and dead.
That's
Okay.
science.
Yeah, that's science.
That's science.
Confusing, but it's science.
It is.
Layers. Wear loose fitting, layered. Layered is way better than buying like this massive down coat.
Yeah.
Always.
Puffy coats.
Yeah. Wear loose fitting, layered, lightweight clothing.
Yeah.
Wool, silk, polypropylene inner layers hold body heat better than cotton. One of the big things that all of this talks about is you want to try and avoid cotton. Flannel is mostly cotton. So even though it seems warm,
Yeah.
you feel like, a lumberjack out there in the middle of winter. It's not the best option.
You want silk.
Yes.
That's all I wear is a silk robe outside in the
Just
winter.
wear your gi.
That's definitely not silk.
But yeah, and you want to, and then the D is for dry. Stay as dry as possible.
You like the D.
Yeah. Number one. If you want
D.
look past all of it, just think of D. But yeah, layering is way better, and it's the best thing you can do to prevent sweating, dehydration, and all that in the winter. You can shed. That's the nice thing about it.
Just like a
shed
dog.
off each layer.
Okay.
And breaking down those layers, like 3 to 4 layers is what they recommend. And you want to go with like a thermal shirt or fleece, and then you go with your outer layer as a down jacket and a waterproof. Well, sorry. Like thermal, fleece, and then like you wear the down jacket, so that's your second layer. Third layer is a waterproof shell, like a parka or something like that. Then you're keeping the water out. You're not overly sweating, and then you can open it up and shed. I used to go snowboarding a lot when I was younger, and I just naturally always would put layers on. I would wear a long sleeve shirt.
Because
I'd wear a thermal shirt, and then I would wear like just a light jacket or a zip up hoodie, which is cotton, not the best.
Sure.
And then I would wear a down coat. And I was always way better off than like my friends would buy like these massive coats, and it just didn't ever work well. So anyways, layering is best. Extra pair of thocks.
I really love that thocks.
Don't think thick socks, think thocks.
That's how Mike Tyson would say it. Thocks. It's thocks.
I got an extra pair of thocks.
You got an extra pair of thocks.
So thick socks, you don't want to go like overboard on these either. Darn tough are good ones. I love those Cloudline ones.
I do too. You know, actually, the ones I like even better than the Cloudline ones?
The
Wildly Good.
Those
ones.
are these ones?
Are you wearing them? Oh, they're great, dude.
They're amazing.
I love them.
Yeah, they're super comfortable.
Yes.
And yeah, so far, like just wearing regular shoes and
What the hell you got your shoes off? How'd you do that so fast?
I have slip-ons, son.
All of a sudden his shoes
I
off.
sit on the couch with slip-ons. Got a
funny.
shoehorn next to the couch.
Oh, it's hilarious.
But yeah, I would agree. Those are like some of my
They're
favorites.
great, man.
But yeah, just get a good pair of socks that aren't gonna like soak your feet in sweat. Like you gotta get a good balance. And wool typically is a better option there. Gloves or mittens, we already talked about that. Mittens are typically better. The 3-in-1 are super nice because you got your fingers that can be exposed. You flip off the little mitten and you can put it back on.
Yep.
Those are my favorites. And you still shoot your gun.
Yes.
Number one. Beanies, winter hats, they don't take up much space. Keeping your head warm is huge. You lose a lot of heat through your head. Your brain needs a lot of heat.
Yeah, working.
Thermal gaiters are nice because then you can kind of cover your neck, use it kind of like a scarf, pull it up over your mouth, protect yourself from COVID and cold.
Yes.
Okay. Boots, you can go crazy with these. Like they can get outrageously expensive.
Yeah.
Most people don't need ones that are good in 65 degree below weather.
Yeah.
You're not going to be in Patagonia,
You never know.
most of the time.
Yeah.
And they're expensive, like $250, $300 for
Oh
boots.
my gosh, they are not cheap.
No. So your area, if you're in Georgia, that's not going to get that cold. It's going to be wet. Like obviously you're going to wear something different than somebody that's in North Dakota.
Yes.
So you got to just kind of look and see what your area is, how cold it gets, and how much snow you're going to be in. Basics are that you want one that's going to protect from getting wet and one that's obviously going to have good insulation.
Mm-hmm.
I use the North Face Snow Fuse boot, and I've had it for 4 years, and I'll wear it spring, winter, sometimes in the summer.
Wow.
4 years. It hasn't started to fall apart. No seams have broken. It's faded, like the lace they haven't even broke. I love that boot, and it's like $99, sometimes even like $60.
Nice.
Anyways, if you want a lightweight boot, that one's only like 240 grams or something. It's great. It's like a Croc,
Yeah,
but it keeps you covered.
Snow Crocs.
Chapstick, obviously, you're going to be out in the wind and snow. Well, hopefully not much, but your face dries out super fast and it hurts. Travel, tissue packs, and just kind of some hygiene stuff.
So this is past clothing now. We're just getting to some stuff to keep with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
The hand warmers, they're cheap. You can have a bunch of them.
Yeah.
You can just like get them hot, put them in your jacket in different pockets. You can put them in your boots,
Crotch.
put them in your crotch. That's usually overheated anyway.
Yeah, it's too hot down there.
I want a cold pack down
Yeah. Exactly.
But and then like I was talking about with the blankets, an all-weather blanket. But the thing is, if you have a Mylar blanket or a bivy, which those are kind of the same, sometimes they're a little different, but those suckers, like you put a wool blanket on or even a cotton blanket and a bivy on top, it traps all that heat. I'm telling you.
It's great
Get you a
stuff.
freaking bivy.
Yep.
And then in your bug out bag, which Kobe will go further into, you want to have those sunglasses to protect your face and things like that. So those are some basics on the clothing. Like I
Nice.
said, 3 layers, good pair of boots, get some mittens or a combo type of glove and a good set of boots.
Nice.
Done and done.
Good set of boots.
Right now, this time of year, I wanted to mention,
Okay.
you're all shopping looking for that best item for everybody.
Yeah.
Maybe you delayed and didn't get the item that you wanted for your kid. And you're going to go to the black market.
Just go to BattleBox.
Doesn't matter. You're always unsafe online.
Yeah, it's true.
Doesn't matter. You can go to Yahoo and get your identity stolen.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's a way you can protect yourself.
How?
Surfshark.
Okay.
It's a virtual private network, cloaks your device online, uses their servers. Nobody can find you. They're trying to hack you. They're going to their servers, and they're getting shut down.
Nice.
It's the smartest way to use the internet, I'm telling you. You can go gray man online. You can be full-on prepper online. And it doesn't cost you hardly anything. If you use our code, Casual Preppers, 83% off for 24 months plus 3. That's 27 if you add it.
Holy moly.
Less than $60.
That's insane.
It is. There's not a cheaper way to go online and be safe. So for less than like $2.20 a month, you can get full protection online. The nice thing too is it can put you can join a server in France and watch all their weird networks.
Yeah, that you might as well.
Yeah.
You
Oui.
Oui.
One prescription
Covers it all.
I love saying that. One prescription covers all your devices. It's not like you got to limit 3, 4, 5. You can do it on all of them.
You can even do
Geo.
it on your router, right?
Yeah, and I
You
still
still
gotta,
need to do a video.
Yeah,
Someone asked
I've
about it
actually
the other
looked
day.
it up and saw how to do it. I just need to do a video.
Nice. Good.
Super easy. If you don't want to keep connecting and reconnecting, you just put it in your router, and so you're always going through one of their servers.
Boom.
The other thing that I really like that I don't mention often on Surfshark is it has what's it called? It's got a shut-off feature where if you lose connection to their VPN, you lose all the internet connection.
So
you can't go on there and all of a sudden you get dropped from Surfshark and you're naked out there in the internet.
Exactly. You don't want that.
They have a feature it'll just kill your internet so you realize you're not on the server anymore. Anyways, go to surfshark.deal/casual preppers. Get it now.
Beautiful.
This is the best time of year to do it.
It really is. Fantastic.
Anyway.
So we talked about a lot of different things. Now we got to look at your bug out bag because your bug out bag depending on where you live, and if you live somewhere like Cam and I do, you have to revise it for the winter months. It's got to be updated and changed. And so here's just a few quick things. We won't take long on this, but that you can do to make sure that it's ready for those winter months. The number one thing basically comes down to clothing. The things that Cam just talked about. You need to have additional wool socks. You need to have a beanie. You need to have gloves. All the other stuff that Cam mentioned, those are things that you probably need to get into your bug out bag because it's going to be cold and you're going to get wet, and you need to be ready with additional clothing to keep you warm or to get out of the clothes that you have that might be wet or whatever they are. So make sure that is a part of your winter update. Also, your sleeping bag or your gear may need to be updated. It's going to be cold sleeping out there in a thunder snow and it's 20 below. So if you can get a bag that is better off in those winter months, do it, a sleeping bag. So make sure you have sunglasses. Again, my eyes are baby eyes when it comes to snow and sun. Have that stuff. Make sure you have chapstick. Make sure you have hand warmers. Cam talked about all of these things, but these are things that you need to...
You could just throw in your bug out bag, too.
Throw them in your bug out bag. Also, make sure anything that has batteries is fully charged or the batteries are changed out, because the cold weather, they wreak havoc on those batteries.
Yeah, they don't like cold.
They suck the charge out. So this is a good time to make sure everything is charged or the batteries are changed or whatever that might be. And also, you have one of those.
Always seems backwards to me.
I know.
Like two hot batteries would be two hot batteries walk into a bar.
They both lose a charge. Yeah, you'd think it would be the other way, huh?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. So just make sure that you have a way to recharge those, or that you've switched out those, or you've charged it all up. Also, in the colder weather, you actually might need additional calories because it's so cold. Your body's working harder. Yeah, exactly. So make sure you have ample food in there and enough calories to keep you going. You might just need to add a few extra things. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Good thought.
Again, water, it freezes. So make sure whatever you're doing water-wise that you've got that figured out. And fire starting is another thing you need to think about, because it becomes more important as the temperature drops. Plus, sometimes it gets harder to actually start those fires. So maybe some extra tinder and some extra fire starting gear is something you should think about in your bug out bag. And all of this kind of goes for your EDC kit as well. It's kind of the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Update those things for the winter. Nothing else specifically, but some of those things are also good for your EDC kit.
Right.
So that's a quick little rundown. I don't think we need to go into it too much, but every year you kind of need to be looking at that as winter comes.
Yeah.
With those kits.
One thing I didn't mention too is like with boots, sometimes you have a good set of boots that you like that are super comfortable, but you're like, oh, I'll have an extra pair of boots for winter only.
Yes.
Like you can get those gaiters for your boots too. Mm-hmm. Like you can make them waterproof, and then the yak tracks are amazing.
Yeah, those are.
So you just stretch them over. I throw those in a bug out bag during the winter anyway. Mm-hmm. And I usually use some for, when I'm going to work.
Yeah.
I just walk all the way to work.
Might as well.
Never slip.
Yep.
Once.
Well done.
On that, the fire starting thing too, like cold water too, you burn more calories and energy to warm it up. So like in your bug out bag and it's half frozen, like it actually works you over more by drinking that if you don't warm it up. And I've seen people throw in those little Jell-O packs where they'll just heat it up, pour in the Jell-O, and then you get a little sweet, little yummy calorie. Yeah. So anyway, we've talked about a lot of this. Staying protected, keeping your home and your car safe for if you get stranded.
Yes.
Battery operated carbon monoxide detectors. Like this is a great time to make sure your fire detectors and your carbon monoxide detectors are working and they're not expired and they're up to date. Fire blankets and extinguishers. Like I don't have an extinguisher in my kitchen. I have the fire blanket nearby, but like this is a good time to put those in.
Yes.
Because you're going to be cooking, you're going to be indoors more, not just with like storms and power outages. Like it's a good time to just get those things in, in order.
For sure. Yeah.
Desperation, people freaking out for storms, can't get to the grocery store. What are they going to go to next? They're going to maybe break into your home. So having some self-defense training, having some weapons, things like that are going to be a little more important.
Yeah, home security too. I mean, it's great.
It's a battery backup system, or, for like, I've talked about it before. Sometimes you can run cameras off from just, some solar batteries and things like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Confusing, but you can do it. Making sure that your home meds, like we talked about, there's a ton of meds that can be useful, like ibuprofen and things like that, over the counter. Go get them now. You don't want it to be suffering diarrhea and constipation. and you can't go to the store, like just make sure you have those because they're available now.
Yep.
Other thing is if you can have some backup antibiotics, most of the time, you can communicate with somebody, even if you're doing televisits or something like that, or talking to somebody that has some medical training, would advise you to get on the antibiotics. Pharmacies closed, can't get to it, like having some available. Worst case scenario, and I always put, disclaimer here, this isn't medical advice.
Yes.
The fish antibiotics are super controversial, but they're typically manufactured to be very similar. If it were me and my family, we had nothing else, and one of them had pneumonia or something, I would start them on a fish antibiotic. So,
but this is
take
not
that
medical
as you
advice.
will.
Yeah.
A weather radio, super helpful to know what's going on outside, how long it's going to last, when's the better time to maybe go and restock on some supplies. And then when it comes to your vehicle, if you get stranded, number one, don't wander off. Like people always I'm stranded, I'm going to go walk back. And that's usually the people that die. Rarely do they die in their cars if they're waiting. Like I've known stories of people like rolling off the road and they'll just live on the groceries they had in there for like 5 days.
Remember that guy that lived off the Taco Bell packets for like 2 weeks? Yeah.
Like you stay in your car, you're way more likely to be found and stay alive. You go out wandering in the blizzard, you're dead.
Yep.
This is an important time to make sure you have a way of charging your phone, whether it be by the car's battery or having like a backup battery pack or solar battery or something like that. Love the what's the frog one? The
Survival Quad
Frog
Pro.
You just hang that out your car window
charge.
and it's going to charge to pull it back in. Play games on your
Just
phone all
put
day
it up
long.
on your dash, man.
Yeah. So I love that thing. It's just a fold-out solar panel that's already attached to the battery. It's wireless charge or USB. Great.
Perfect.
Great gift. Hydrate. You want to make sure you're drinking sips of fluid. A lot of time in the winter, you're cold. You don't realize that you're thirsty, but you're still dehydrating, and that's another big risk. So just sip little bits at a time. And then if you're staying in your car and doing what, they advise to like every hour, start your car, warm it up for 10 minutes, then shut it off. And a big thing is make sure your exhaust isn't plugged by snow in the back. Like if you've gone off the road, if it's still snowing and there's a blizzard and you're going to start your car, go out and make sure the exhaust is open.
That'd be good.
You're not filling up your car with death. So those are like just real basic things that you can do to kind of keep yourself safe at home and if you get stranded. And then just quick summary of what the big things,
if you
Kobe
get anything, these things right here are the things to think about.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is what Kobe mentioned early on. It's like 2 weeks of food and water are huge. And that's the thing that you can work on now. Stores are still open. You can get to town. There's not much snow. Go and get those. Work on the 2-week plan. Important meds, if you're getting prescription meds, have at least 2 weeks. Don't wait till your last refill. Try and get 90 days worth. Most of the time you can do that. Clothing, work on the clothing layers. Like get a good feel of what works and what, you don't need to buy a freaking huge coat. Just buy good layering. Fuels, make sure you top off your vehicles. Make sure you have fuel for your generator and then cooking fuels, things like that. Bug out bag, tweak it for winter. Lighting, make sure your batteries are charged and you have ways to charge those blackout kits and that your kids didn't take the flashlights out and run them dead. That's what happens all the time. Backup heating, ways to keep warm but safe indoors, even if you're pitching a tent in one room. Like, have ways to like make sure you're not getting poisoned by carbon monoxide and that you can heat safely. And your vehicle, just make sure it's ready to go for winter.
Absolutely.
That's pretty much all the basic stuff right
That's total winter preparedness just for you guys.
100% total.
100%.
Total recall.
I got to tell you, though, today's podcast is brought to you by Tac Pack, the makers of the mitten trigger for AR-15. Right?
That sounded perfect.
It did, huh? The only monthly
Sounds like
tactical
I've been doing it for years.
subscription box with useful professional grade stuff inside. You prick. Use code Casual Preppers.
Throw it over your head.
Get a free separate bag sent of EDC gear along with your first month's Tac Pack. Head to tacpack.com, use our code Casual Preppers, and lo and behold, we have a Tac Pack to look at right now. The first item in the Tac Pack is the grip mat. Dude, it's cool.
I thought this was like a school food tray.
That's what it looks like, huh?
But
it's a tool mat.
Yeah.
So you don't lose like all those little intricate tools when you're either cleaning your gun or working on your gun or even working on anything. It's cool.
It's so nice to have a little cup to put like all the
Yeah,
screws in.
for
so
sure.
you don't
And
lose
then there's the Thompson target pucks. So these are little 3-inch stick 'em up adhesive targets that you can put anywhere.
Yeah, those
You
are
can
sweet.
freaking stick
Put it on
them
the back of your head.
Yeah, exactly. Put them on your windshield, wherever you want. Don't matter. Then we have the Bad Enhanced Bolt Catch. This is Battle Arms developed as a Tier 1 industry leader in innovation, design, and durability. Got that.
Always a nice little gun part.
Black Rifle Coffee Steep Bag. Steeps like tea, tastes like freedom.
That's awesome.
Yes. Then we got the Tac Pack Dog of War Tea.
That's a bug out
Self-explanatory.
bag item right there. Right?
This shirt is badass.
Oh, $10 bill.
I know. So we got a rad T-shirt with a dog on it. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah. And then we got the Tac Pack Turkey sticker. Actually, the sticker's pretty sweet. I want to put that on something cool.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
evil turkey.
Yeah, so that's the latest Tac Pack. Pretty sweet stuff.
Always.
As we're going along with this, let's look at the latest Going Gear EDC Club. And they've got some neato Frito stuff in their stuff as well. The first thing is the QSP Knives Parrot, a $29 value, 3.25-inch spear point satin finish D2 steel blade. Pretty cool. Micarta handles, weighing at 3.2 ounces. Pretty cool little EDC knife.
Those are pretty
I have another QSP knife that I like.
I like the feel of the grip on that.
Yeah,
It's
it's
got a
pretty cool.
good little texture.
Then we have the Fisher Space Pen, the backpacker, the $29.95 value.
Ink straight from Venus.
Yep, ink from Venus.
Those are
right
sweet,
there.
though.
Cool
'cause
knives.
Half the time you are writing.
You can write upside
horizontal.
down. You can write underwater, through grease, extreme temperatures, almost anything. It's pretty great. Then you
Or
have
vertical.
the
Oh.
Eagle Tac Teeny T DX3E keychain light. 1,000 lumen maximum.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Apparently. That's what it
I
says.
don't believe it.
Jeez.
That doesn't look like 1,000.
That doesn't.
I think it needs a little bit of a charge.
Or I don't know if there's another mode or something you got to put it in. Who knows? But it's always nice to have a keychain
Shift
light.
it into first.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's the Going Gear EDC Club as well.
They have
Pretty
tons
sweet.
of stuff online. Go check out their store.
They do.
It's time for the quick and dirty medical tip.
All right, so you guys are bored, and I understand. But I'm just going to go
How
over.
do you know they're bored? You don't know.
We've been talking for so long.
We did a 2.5-hour podcast last time.
That's
Everybody
true.
was super excited about it.
Yeah. It was good.
It was.
My wife was like, wow, it's long. And then she listened to it. She's like, actually, it was really good.
Well, that was nice of her.
Like, thank you, honey.
That's nice of her to say.
Thank you.
Thanks,
She probably
Tommy.
had it in 5 times mode.
Yeah. Curran sounded like a chipmunk.
Like a manly chipmunk.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Okay, so this is just real basic do's and don'ts of frostbite.
Okay. Yeah.
Hypothermia gets a little bit more detailed, so I'm going to leave that out. You can
Okay.
figure it out on your go on MD, WebMD or something.
Frostbite.
Frostbite, the do's. Do bring the person into a warm room as soon as possible. Don't leave them out in the cold.
Okay.
But the reason they say that is because if
starts to
you're
hurt.
going to be back in the cold, they actually don't want to thaw frostbite.
Because they're going to hurt.
Because
like a
if
biznitch.
it thaws and then you go back out and it freezes, that's way more damaging to the tissue.
Oh, okay.
So if you're going to be in continual cold, you want to just stay out in the cold, which is interesting.
Screw that.
Yeah. Do call for medical assistance immediately if you suspect frostbite. And that means when you're warming up like your digits in warm water, not hot water. If you're warming them up and they look grayish or look pale, like they're not getting blood flow, that becomes more emergent and you should try and seek medical care. Remove restrictive clothing and
Get naked.
rest the injured areas. You don't want to be exerting any area that's been under trauma by frostbite.
Okay.
And then to the rewarming, you want to use, like, people tend to use too hot of water and they test it with their frozen tipped fingers. You know, they're like,
Oh, yeah.
feels pretty good.
Yeah.
Burns them off. So you want to, like, use your elbow or some softer, more sensitive tissue and see how hot. Oh, yeah, my forearm is pretty hot.
Stick your ding dong in there.
Stick your
Check it.
ding dong. You will know if it's too hot.
Sensitive.
It's the hardest
soft
part when you get in a
tissue.
pool.
It is, huh?
But yeah, so you want to test that water, make sure it's just kind of lukewarm. They say roughly 100 to 110, so hot tub water. Hot tub water. And then like 30 to 45 minutes. Good gosh. When I've been talking a long time, it gets real slurred, like I'm drunk.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. During the warming, people like to like rub things.
That sounds like
you know?
a book or a movie or a series. The Warming.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
It does.
During the warming.
During the warming. So real catastrophic event that
After
happens
the
in the United States.
thunderstorm, we had the warming.
The water runoff flooded the whole.
The warming.
Yeah, it does sound
Chapter
like
2, the warming.
Thunder Snow. Chapter 1. Chapter 2, the warming.
The warming.
But try to avoid rubbing the area, trying to keep it warm by friction.
I try.
That will damage it. And try not to use like heaters and things like that. You're just not going to be able to feel that it's burning off.
Sure.
Prevent infection. Frostbite tends to blister. Try and keep those blisters intact and covered. If they rupture, then you want to, keep them clean by covering them with bandages. People like to pop them. Don't pop them. They'll probably eventually pop, but the longer you can keep them closed and sterile, the better. Mm-hmm. The don'ts. Don't do these things, okay? That's what it means. Okay. Don't do anything that will further injure the tissue. Like I said, don't rub them together. Okay. Don't try and put them by a heater or anything like that.
In a fire.
If your feet are pretty poorly or pretty damaged by frostbite and you're not going to go back in the cold, try to stay off your feet. Okay. They can heal better if they're kind of elevated. Well, not elevated, but you're not standing on them and walking on them because you'll just damage the tissue.
Sure, yeah.
Don't use dry heat, like I said. Blow dryer, radiator. Don't put them on a heating pad. Okay. Those things will just damage further. And the prevention, we've already talked about this. Dress appropriately. These are for frostbite and hypothermia. Dress appropriately. Layering. It's always important so you don't sweat and get colder. Protect your hands and feet. Mittens are great. Good boots. Don't drink alcohol. People do that and they die. And smoking obviously constricts blood vessels and damages tissue further. So don't smoke while you're sitting in the cold. It's funny because all Army films are all smoking in the trenches, but it actually is not good for vascular flow. If you get wet, get dry as fast as possible. Check yourself every half hour or so for signs of frostbite. If you're stuck in the cold, if you're trying to get back somewhere, you need to check your digits. Sometimes genitals, because that is one of the first places to freeze.
Yikes.
But anyways, those are real basic things, but those are the do's and don'ts. Don't rub them. Don't rub your genitals.
Not when it's cold. Anyways.
The end.
Awesome. Thank you, Cameron. Thank you all for listening. We appreciate you mightily. We really do. You're all very nice people for listening.
And you make our lives way more exciting.
You do. Keep on subscribing. Share us to your friends. Follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I don't know. Everywhere. Just
Alta Vista.
Yeah, Alta Vista. Whatever.
Netscape browser.
Stay survived.